So many strange things are happening in this life. There was a young man named Solomon, born into a very wealthy family. His father was a powerful politician and also a prominent businessman. He held a high-ranking position in the Nigerian Customs Service as an A.A officer, one of the top official ranks. A man of wealth and influence, Solomon's father had 5 wives and 20 children. Solomon was the second to the last born in the family. One day, Solomon approached his father and demanded a huge sum of money. His father looked at him and asked, "For what purpose?" "I want to enjoy my life," Solomon said bluntly. His father, unimpressed, refused. Angry and feeling entitled, Solomon packed his things and left the family house. He moved in with his friends, hoping to find the freedom and lifestyle he craved. But his desire for wealth only grew stronger. Time after time, Solomon called and begged his father for money, but each time, he was turned down. Then one day, in a voice filled with frustration and threat, Solomon called his father and said, "If you don't give me my inheritance now, something terrible is going to happen to this family." His father laughed and said, "Solomon, childishness is worrying you, my son." Meanwhile, Solomon's friends were always flexing, throwing money around, living lavishly. Solomon, having little to his name, began to feel intimidated and left out. One evening, unable to hold back his envy, he asked one of his friends, "Where are you guys getting all this money you're flexing with every day?" The friend chuckled and replied, "It's brain work, Solomon." Solomon leaned forward. "Then teach me. I'm a fast learner, I'll understand even quicker than you guys." The next day, his friends took him to a nearby village to meet an herbalist. It was a remote, eerie place filled with shrines, and in the center sat an old man with long white beards, surrounded by ancient charms and idols. They introduced Solomon to the herbalist. The herbalist looked at him and said, "Your father is a wealthy man." "Yes," Solomon replied, "but he refuses to give me money." The herbalist nodded slowly. "Don't worry. Since you're here, you will become richer than your father." Solomon's eyes widened with excitement. He was taken to sit in the center of 3 shrines. A red cloth was used to cover his face. He was handed a calabash filled with clear water, then a knife. "Stab the water," the herbalist instructed. As soon as he did, the water in the calabash turned into fresh blood. Shocked but silent, Solomon was told to carry the calabash to his room, and no matter what, it must never touch the ground. That night, he did exactly as he was told. Later that night, his father called. "Solomon," he said, "your sister is very sick. The doctor says she's losing blood rapidly." The next morning, Solomon checked the calabash. To his amazement, the room was filled with money, bundles upon bundles of naira scattered everywhere. He was overwhelmed with joy. But that joy didn't last long. A few hours later, he received a call from his mother. "Solomon, your sister is dead." He broke down crying. But when his friends saw him, they said, "Why are you crying? You're the one who used her for the ritual." Those words cut deep. 3 months later, Solomon bought a brand new Mercedes-Benz worth millions of naira. His lifestyle changed overnight. Parties, attention, women, he had everything he ever wanted. But 6 months after the initial ritual, the herbalist sent a message. "It's time. You must sacrifice another fresh blood." Confused and frightened, Solomon asked himself, "Where will I get human blood again?" "Relax," his friends told him. "We have ways." One night, Solomon went into the room where the calabash was kept. With trembling hands, he stabbed the blood inside the calabash again. Immediately, another fresh blood appeared. The next morning, one of his father's sons was found dead in the family sitting room. No one could explain what was happening, but tragedy began to sweep through the family like wildfire. Solomon continued to renew the ritual, and each time, another of his siblings mysteriously died. It didn't take long before the entire family was thrown into chaos. His siblings began fleeing the house, running for their lives. The once happy family was now shattered by grief and suspicion. 2 of his father's wives couldn't take it anymore. They filed for divorce and left the house, blaming the man for not controlling his son. The house that was once filled with laughter, children's voices, and the proud heir of a powerful lineage, had now become a silent, cursed mansion. Solomon, however, was too deep in the ritual to turn back. With each death, his wealth increased. He bought 2 houses in Lagos, drove exotic cars, and traveled frequently, yet inside, something was changing. He barely slept. He began to see shadows, strange faces staring at him from mirrors, whispering voices echoing in the dark, calling his name with grief and rage. Solomon. Solomon, give it back. He thought it was his mind playing tricks on him, until one night. He was lying on his king-sized bed when he woke up to a cold wind blowing through his locked room. The calabash sat on a pedestal at the corner, covered in red cloth. But tonight, the cloth had fallen. Solomon rose slowly, his heart pounding. The blood inside the calabash was bubbling, like it was boiling from within. Suddenly, the lights in the room flickered. The air turned thick. And then, he heard it. A child's laughter. He turned sharply, nothing there. Then he heard it again, this time closer. He bolted out of bed and ran out of the room, slamming the door shut. Panting, sweating, he called one of his friends who introduced him to the ritual. Guy, I dey see things. I dey hear voices. Wetin dey happen? His friend was quiet for a moment, then replied, You're beginning to feel the consequences. The spirits are restless. What do you mean restless? Solomon asked, almost shouting. You've killed too many people from your own bloodline. That's not what the ritual was meant for. It was supposed to be strangers, not your own blood. Solomon collapsed to the ground, shaking his head. Nobody told me that. His friend ended the call. Solomon was alone again, with his thoughts, his guilt, and a calabash filled with cursed blood. The next day, he visited the herbalist again. The old man was seated in front of the shrine, his eyes closed as if he had been expecting him. You have broken the order, the herbalist said without being told anything. Solomon fell to his knees. Please help me. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to use my own family. The herbalist opened his eyes slowly. Now the spirits are angry. They've tasted your bloodline. And they want more. Solomon screamed, I didn't mean to. Just tell me how to stop it. The herbalist stood and walked toward one of the shrines. He returned holding a black god. There is only one way, he said. But you may not like it. I'll do anything. Solomon begged. To end the ritual, the calabash must be returned to where it was made, with a final sacrifice, your own life, or the life of someone who shares your blood. Solomon's eyes widened. What kind of wicked choice is that? The herbalist said nothing more. Solomon left the shrine in rage and fear. That night, he locked the calabash in a metal safe, hoping to contain the evil. But no safe could hold what he had unleashed. The next morning, one of his stepmothers was found dead in her sleep. Her skin pale, her eyes wide open, as if she'd seen something terrifying before she died. The deaths continued. Another sibling. Then another. Soon, the media caught wind of it. Headlines read: Tragedy in a politician's family, 7 children dead in 9 months. Neighbors began whispering. The once respected family was now avoided. People said the family was cursed. The father became a recluse, rarely seen in public. His political allies distanced themselves, afraid the curse might follow them too. Solomon, now rich beyond his dreams, lived in a fortress of emptiness. Women left him. Friends abandoned him. Every night, he drank himself to sleep, only to wake up screaming. He no longer wanted the money. He would have traded it all to bring his siblings back, to make the voices stop, to forget the blood he spilled. One rainy night, drunk and broken, Solomon stood before the calabash. His trembling hand lifted the knife once again. But this time, he wasn't alone. A cold wind blew out all the lights in his mansion. The blood in the calabash began to boil violently. From the shadows emerged figures, his siblings, their eyes hollow, their mouths whispering his name. Solomon. He dropped the knife and stumbled back. They moved closer. You stole our lives, one of them said. "Now give us yours." He screamed and ran, but there was nowhere to hide. Solomon ran through the halls of his mansion, barefoot and panicked, crashing into walls, gasping for breath. But no matter where he turned, they were there, his dead siblings, the ones he had unknowingly sacrificed. Their faces were pale, twisted not with anger, but with sorrow. "We trusted you," one whispered. "You were our brother," another said. "Why?" a child's voice cried. The shadows closed in, and Solomon screamed, "I didn't know. I was blind. I thought I was just getting rich, I didn't mean to kill you." But the spirits did not care for excuses. Suddenly, the calabash in his room cracked open with a loud snap. The blood inside splashed across the floor, boiling hot and dark. Smoke rose from it, twisting into the shape of a giant black figure, tall, faceless, horned. It was the keeper of the ritual. "Payment," it growled in a voice that echoed like thunder. Solomon fell to his knees. "Take the money. Take it all. I don't want it anymore." But the spirit of the ritual shook its head. "You asked for wealth, and blood paid for it. Only blood can end it." At that moment, Solomon heard the front gate of the house swing open. It was his younger cousin, Daniel, the only family member who hadn't fled. He had come to check on Solomon, unaware of the horror that lay inside. "No, no, please," Solomon whispered. But the spirit already knew. The calabash began to glow once more. Daniel entered the mansion and stopped when he saw Solomon kneeling on the ground, crying, blood dripping from the walls, and ghostly figures circling him. "Solomon," he called out. "Get out." Solomon screamed. "Leave now." But Daniel didn't move. The spirits turned their gaze to the boy. The final blood. Solomon had a choice to make: sacrifice Daniel, complete the ritual, or end it another way. In that moment, a memory flashed in Solomon's mind. His little sister teaching him how to tie his shoes. His elder brother helping him with homework. His father lifting him on his shoulders. His family, gone because of greed. "I won't let this go on," Solomon muttered. With all the strength he had left, he grabbed the same knife he had used for the rituals. He turned toward the calabash and raised it toward himself. The spirits paused. "Take me," Solomon said. "Let him go. Let it all end with me." Daniel shouted, "No." But it was too late. Solomon drove the blade into his chest, straight through his heart. The room exploded with light, blinding, pure, and fierce. A scream, then silence. When Daniel opened his eyes, the mansion was still. The shadows were gone. The calabash had shattered into dust. And Solomon's body lay still, peaceful, almost smiling. News spread fast. The curse was broken. The death stopped. His father wept for the son he lost, but also for the son who, in the end, made it right. Years later, no one lived in Solomon's mansion. Grass grew wild, the gates rusted shut. Some say they still hear a voice whispering in the wind. Don't chase blood money. The price is always paid in pain. And as for Daniel, he would go on to tell the story of Solomon, not just as a tale of horror, but as a warning to all who dare trade family for fortune. Because sometimes, what you're searching for ends up destroying what you can never replace. Thank you for watching. Like this video, subscribe and comment.